Alright, do you want this? Learn how to make manga animations. I'll present the principles of manga animations, teach you from a beginner's level to an advanced level how to animate characters. You'll learn how to animate bodies, faces, eyes, and hair, along with how to make compositions by just using your phone. The topics I'll talk about in this video are on screen. They include how manga animations work, what apps to use, how to get good quality images, how to make PNGs, and all about a light motion projects. Now, moving on to the first topic, I'll explain how manga animations work for the people that don't know how it's made. When they see a manga gojo animation and get impressed at it, for example, in simple terms, it is a bunch of images mashed together using a video editing software to make the movement of each image that corresponds to an arm, an eye, a hair, or a leg, just to name a few examples. I'll use this simple panel of Gojo to exemplify my explanation. In this panel, there's the background, then Gojo's character, in which we have his hair, face, both arms, torso, and legs. Breaking the panel down this way, it's easier for you to understand how it truly works. Essentially, manga animations are something simple to do, but to perfect them, it requires a lot of practice. Now, I'll make Gojo's arms move using a simple soft rotate keyframe here, and now the arms are alive. But let's join all of Gojo's body parts again, and you'll see that now Gojo's arms are moving, but the rest of the body isn't. This is a simple animation of his arms. Then, we can apply the same logic to the legs if we want. But for the clothing animation on the torso and hair animation, we use different effects that I'll teach in the following part of the series. Now that you learned what's the core of a manga animation, we need to move on to the basics of preparing an image for animating, what apps to use, and the best way to prepare a project for animating. I'll show on the screen the apps we'll use, and I'll explain the function of each app. These are the basic apps you'll need for the animation. I'll talk about the first two in the corner here, Pinterest and Google. As you can probably infer, these apps are where you'll get the images that you will be animating and the images that you'll need to animate, such as a background or something like images of clouds for a sky. Also, there are very useful websites that you can use to make your work easier to do, but I'll talk about them on the next topics. Moving on to a light motion, it's the app where we'll animate our images later on, where we can apply effects, create compositions, and make our images into a great animation. Nothing much to comment here, I'll talk about the app in the next topics. Moving on to IBS Paint X. This is the app we'll use to create the images. For example, to make Gojo's arm, I cut the entire image except Gojo's arm on IBS Paint and export the PNG. Then, for the clothing on the layer below Gojo's arm, I used IBS Paint to recreate that missing area. It will play the most essential role for the animation. Next and last app for now, it will be Wink. It essentially can help us in many different ways. In this screenshot, it shows the many functions of Wink. For example, AI removal that removes objects from an image, or AI expansion that expands the image, like from a 9:16 format to a 16:9 one. Color match, which uses a sample image and change the target image you select to that sample image color. Basically, if the sample is blue and target is orange, you'd get a blue colored image for target image. Then, for last, quality restoration or AI repair. We will use this to upscale our animation quality when we finish it. On the next topic, to get a good quality for the image we'll use, we will use a website named Image Upscaler. In this website, we'll upscale our images to 4K quality, and that will obviously be way better than a 144p quality image. I'll use another Gojo panel, for example, that I found on Google. As you can see, the quality should be bad if I didn't upscale this video quality. Then, we'll open the website, wait for it to load, click on 400% option for 4K quality, and then put our image on it. After we wait for it to finish, once it does, click on the eye icon next to the blue button. Wait for the entire image to load, then click on the blue button to download it. Then we get our 4K image to animate. Next topic is how to make PNGs, and I'll talk about high quality PNGs, which there are two ways to get a high quality PNG to use on IBS Paint. The first one will be with a lazy option, but not perfect, the Adobe PNG free website. When you enter the website, click to upload your photo, and after doing it, like this Gojo panel I selected, wait a bit and then download the final result. Moving on to the second method I know, you'll do the process manually inside IBS Paint, which I'll show you two ways of doing it. But you should note that these methods will take longer than the Adobe method. When you create a new project with the 4K images on IBS Paint, if an option appears to you to choose between full quality or recommended resolution for the image as suggested by the app, click on the recommended resolution so that you get less lag when you animate everything. First, when you open the project, click on these three squares that are the layers and click on the transparent background. It will be necessary to get a PNG result. For the first method, click on the eraser and go erasing the parts you won't use for the animation. Simple as that. For the second method, you click on this icon and click on the magic wand, then you select gap recognition. If you don't want to accidentally select your character layer and go clicking on the areas that you want to delete, then after finishing, select the eraser and erase the entire layer. The selected area will disappear, and you'll then have to finish the last details to unselect the area. Click on this dotted square and remove selection area. For this tutorial, we won't need to cut out all of the character's body parts, so just make a simple PNG, and when you finish it all, click on the arrow on the bottom right corner, and then click Save Image as PNG. For the last topic, after you have your PNGs, we would open a live motion, and then you select the resolution for your project. I'd recommend either a 4:5 or 16:9 ratio, but for the purposes of this example, I'll use 16:9, and then put 1080p and 60 FPS. Inside the project, you would want to drop your PNGs here and make the animation. But for today, we are just learning how to do the basic stuff required for animating. So click on Add button and create a square. Then fill composition and fill it with the green color. Then put the PNG you created and make it big on the middle of the screen. Then let's make both background and image to 5 seconds. Now click on the image and go to the effect option. Click on the search bar and type bend and select it as standard. It will be selected bottom as the origin, so just create a keyframe on the 0-second frame and then on the 5-second frame. On the 0-second frame, we put 10 as the value, and on the 5-second frame, we put -10 as the value. Then we export it with the quality options all on max. The result should be something very simple as this. It is a start for us. And then, if we ever want to use this bent PNG, we just put a new project and use green screen on the clip we just exported. In this class, we learned basic principles for manga animations. We learned in a fun, hopefully, way and created a simple animation using bend effect on a character PNG. That thing that looked like it was extremely complex should be easier for you to understand now, and this will help you on our next classes. The second episode, we'll learn about how to animate the hair for a character. Now, please like and subscribe and share this video. That's the simple price for today's class. I've always wanted to say like and subscribe.